Right, just doing a bit of tweaking. What's going on here? Why is that so out? That's very weird. So I just setting up the camera. I need to see what it's like on stream. So right, it's for some reason it's really blurred. So let me just try and sort that out. Hopefully, I think that's it. Okay. Hopefully that's come back a little bit. If someone could just give me a quick check that the microphone is working, that'd be great. Should be that one there. Days. For a minute, 'cause it's making a lot of noise. How are you doing, everyone, anyway? How's everyone feeling today? Okay. Why is that on? Right, okay. I know I'm done. Right, guys, just bear with us. I've just got everything set up, so I'm just going to get the extra screen onto the TV above, and I can track the actual messages a little bit quicker than StreamYard's actually putting them up. So I'll just wait for that to come up on the screen. Oh, just about to take Tara out on a driving lesson. Ooh. See if we got in there. So let's try it on this one then. Newdom Junction, Finlayson Central, Delft Junction. We've also got Andy, who's just finished his live. What's going on here? And yeah, that's great. Brilliant. Okie dokie. Right then, let's get this off here. And I can make a start. Okay. So, as the screen suggested, I'm going to revisit this Class 91 that I did a couple of years ago. It was one of my very first attempts at trying to convert an analog ring-filled motor into a DCC function. It did work for a while, but then we had a few issues with regards to running, etc. And it's basically been just put to the side for about 18 months or so. So essentially then, what we're going to do is we're going to take obviously this body off, and we're going to put a Strath Pepper CD motor kit in, and that is the one I've got for today. And if most of you hopefully should know who Strath Pepper Junction is, if you don't, just type it in on YouTube. It's got a really good channel, but also he has over the years sort of come out with these new CD motor kits for the Hornby and Lima Ringfields pancake motors. They're really good. I've had a couple fitted to mine now for the last few years, and they seem to be doing fantastic. Right, now that's on there, I can get into my channel. So just bear with me, I just put this on the screen. I can go from there. There we go. I didn't think this was going to work, to be fair, because my laptop was trying to do 1,000,001 updates, and it's just literally now sprung into life. So that's good. And So hence I'm still fiddling around just to get this all set up on the screen. Hopefully then we can just crack on. Let that sell. Cool. Happy days. Right, there we go. I can see what's going on now. Brilliant. Wilsec, how you doing? Finnerton. Just a quick catch up, see if there's anyone else. Usual mob in today. That's great. New Dome Junction. Happy days. Okay. So, Class 91. I'm not going to bore you with the intricacies because you've probably seen all this a million times. It's just that I wanted to try and get this upgraded again. Obviously, with the skills that I've picked up for the last couple of years, hopefully it'll be a little bit a lot better running, and a few extra bits that we can put in. I think initially I did this as a hardwire straight to a Hornby DCC decoder. Yeah, there's limitations on decoders. They're all different. I'm not going to go into the realms of what's good or bad, but for this project, what I am going to do is get it converted to DCC, and I'm going to use one of these. So I think some of you have probably seen these before. Okay, and that just allows you then to put in your chip on top. So we're going to use one of those today. You can get wiring looms that have the same sort of thing if you just want to use a wiring loom with the socket on as well. It's exactly the same as these. And then obviously the wiring, you just take off what you need to go to the motor and then to the pickups. So your choice is yours, really. It's pretty common sort of knowledge what you can use. Right, so I'll put that there. Should I think? Right. I'll get on with this. If someone can put up in the chat how I can make someone a moderator, that'd be appreciated, because I think I've only got one on here now, but I'd like to try and put a few more on here so they can sort of share the love and all that sort of stuff. Let's go with this. So here's the kit. Back up the junction. I'm going to try and lay this stuff out now without losing all the parts, because there is some small parts on here. There we go. Okay, so that's the CD motor in question. You can get two types of these, and it's the width can be different as well. This is a 12mm thick motor. You can get a 9mm, and I believe also you can get the voltage change on them from, I think it's either 6-volt motor or 12-volt. I believe this one, I'm not going to turn it over, I believe this one's a 12. Along with that, we're going to have a 3D printed sleeve, and then with that then goes like a retaining clip that holds the motor in place. We'll see all that being installed. You get 2 bits of heat shrink just to sort out your wires. It's a pretty standard. And a little clear sleeve. It's just basically a little plastic insert that you put into the ring field. It acts as a barrier because the ring field motor body itself is metal, so you don't particularly want to have the motor connected to that sort of frame if possible, and you'll see how we do that in a bit. 2 spare cogs. It's really tiny to try and see. And again, the thickness in these, in his video, in Strathpepper's video, he basically says, yeah, exactly. You can cut these down to size. Okay, yeah, yeah, fingers like yeah, we shan't go there. And this is going to be really awkward. Okay, plastic retaining clip, as opposed to, and you probably won't see it because of my fingers, there's a metal retaining clip there as well. It's entirely up to you what we want to use. You can see how small and finicky these things are. And that's basically it. That's your kit. What I'm going to do for now is just put the small bits away, because I am prone to knocking things over and forgetting where they are. Now with a chipboard floor, it can go anywhere. So I'll put those away for now. Stick them there. Okay. So Finiston said, obviously, the only thing doesn't like about Hornby CD conversion kits is you can't change it back because you have to drill out a bushing. Ah, right. Yes. I have some somewhere. Let's have a look. So, got a box of bits here that I like to keep. And let me see if I can find one just to show the guys on here. There it is, a small one. Okay. So what is on about is basically, this is an old ring-fill motor. And obviously you've got quite a large gap there where the spindle would actually come through. And what he's on about is this tiny brass insert. You can see that. That would actually sit in there. So I think it goes that way. I could be wrong. There you go. So it would normally sit like that. And on some of them, you are correct. When you try and put this motor into this system, most of the time you can get away with it. It will actually come through. You can just see it on there. Doesn't leave an awful lot of meat on there, does it? Let's push that back in. There we go. So you got about maybe 3 mil or something on there. But it does say that sometimes you can actually remove this. Now I've managed to knock this out fairly clean with a drift, and obviously kept the parts. So depending on what you use to knock that little bushing out, yeah, you probably can get that back in. But yeah, I know exactly what I'm about. I've had that problem before on my early days of making stuff. Sausage fingers, definitely, as you can see. I'm trying to hold those silly little things, and yeah, it doesn't really help, to be fair. Okay. In the back of the house. In the back of the house. In the back of the house. What else we got there? Ivo, welcome to the channel. How are you doing? Hope you're well. And let's see you catch on there. Tap message. Oh, tap on the message and it gives you the options. Ah, right. Okay. Tap on the message. Let's try that then. Where is that? Let's have a look. And, tap on the message. Nope, that says hide. Try that. Yep. Okay, I'll have to have a look at it later on, I think. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. Okay. Class 91. So this one is obviously the motor that we recovered. So the front end gearing is still all there. And obviously, the stuff that we tried to put in last time, we've already removed. And you notice that the bushing is actually still intact on this one. So it is actually still in there. Now, I've done a bit of a dry run with this, just because I just want everything to go right today, just for a change. We've already had a laptop do a 2-hour reboot and restart. So, yeah, happy days. Obviously, this is quite an old model. So you're looking at sort of 80s, 90s possibly. So they still use the old traction tyres. So when you do a conversion on these, it's always best just to have a look at the condition of these. Just make sure they're good. Yeah, they're pence to get replace them anyway, which is a good thing. Cool. Right then. So first things first on this. Let's get that motor out there. We're going to take the rear one out, and we'll leave that like that. And then we'll take the main chassis off, and we'll leave that over there. He's actually glued that in, which is good. And that's it. There's really isn't much to it, to be fair. So we put those down. Happy days. Where's my drink? Because we've got it dry already. So one of the things you need to be aware of is, obviously, because it's an old system, the refill motor, the body itself, the way it picks up the feed is through, obviously, the wheels. Now, this is quite an old version, so you're not going to have those connections on the sides that would sit on the inside of these wheels. This purely is going to have contact from the actual shaft or the axle straight onto this body. So that is your electrical connection. And to prove that, just give it a quick zap. So use a voltmeter, and then hopefully you can hear that. I don't know how good the microphone is. You should hear a little beeping noise. If you go to the other side, this side of the wheel is actually insulated from the axle. So there's no, even though it's got rubber tires on it, it physically does not pick up any feed. But obviously anywhere else on the bogie itself, the axle, you'll pick up that feed. So it's important when you're putting this together that you get the right side. Okay. Obviously on this side now, the rear, it's exactly the same. It's using the same system, body, and then contacts with the wheel. If you go to the right hand side, nothing. Again, those wheels are just isolated. Basic stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that afterwards. I'll do it after the stream, and then I can just click on various things and get a few moderators on here. That's good. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that. Excuse me. So with that in mind, obviously you're going to need to ensure that if your feed is on from this side, you need to turn this around. Make sure that your feed is now going to come from this side. So your front axle is going to pick up from, I usually call it the left hand side, trolley is facing forward, and then from the rear it's going to pick up from the right hand rail. So left and right. Simple as. It's very easy to pick this up, do a lot of work, and put it around the wrong way around. And then when you come to connect it all up, you get nothing because you've got both feeds on the same side of the track. So it's just something to sort of be aware of. So that's my system. That's all tickety-boo. We've taken the bogey stuff off on there. I'm not going to do one here at the moment. I've already done this, but a good thing to do, guys, is take your wheels off. And the reason I say that is because over time, I'll just take one off for now. All the wheels, they all come off. Over time, all this gets gunked up, and this is your main contact. So you need to just make sure that this is all cleaned down. So get some isopropyl, some bits and pieces, whatever you want, cleaning material, a bit of rag. Just clean that down, get rid of all the gunk. Because all your gunk, hair, and God knows what else that you get on the track gets picked up by that. And a good way of telling you if it's clean or not is if you move that through and you find a little bit of resistance, and you probably find that the stuff inside there as well is collected. So before we do anything else, we'll just make sure that's all clean. I've already done this, so I know it's clean. I should be able to just do that, and there's no resistance. And that would alleviate a lot of issues with connectivity and stuff. I'll put these back on for now so I don't lose them. So obviously take that wheel set off. All my dry gears have come off now, along with its retainer. So we'll stick those there. We'll come back to those later on. Okay, excuse me. Right. So what I'll do later on in the description box, once I finish my live, I'll put a link to Strath Heather Junction, and I'll also put a link onto his eBay webpage. So if you want to try and find out what you need to get as an upgrade kit, then it'll take you straight there. I'll sort all that out once we go off air. Right then, so obviously we've got a motor. First thing I would do before we do anything else is just physically check with just a plain 9-volt battery that this is actually working, which it is. Quite difficult to hear, but I can assure you it is definitely running. Great, so we know that's a good motor. Put that there. So it's a good idea then to basically clean all this stuff up, especially where the points are where these all sit. So go ahead and get some IPA, whatever you use, all this area, get it all cleaned up, ready for when you do the reassembly, and you can put a bit of oil in. Okay, so on the old one we did a few years ago, I just literally put the motor straight in there, straight on, and off we went. There's a few issues with that, so this is why we're revisiting. Okay, let's get a few of these bits out. There we go. Yeah, we'll have one of those as well. Yes, Ivo, I will be. I noticed these today. They have a little bit of stuff on the back end. So I've got a bit of sandpaper here. And we'll give that a bit of a clean up on both sides just to make sure there's no burrs and that on them. Because, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Hornby's renowned for just having these mass produced and then bunged on. So, yeah, we'll give those a bit of a clean before we go for the reassembly. Right then. So, take your gearing off. Take the rear panel off. Now, yours will probably have something that resembles. Where are we? Could be that one. Probably that one. Probably resembles something like that. This is what normally sits at the back end. Okay, it usually fits on there like that. Let's try a better. Try a better one. There we go. That's what you would normally have. And you got your spring and your carbon brushes in there, and then you'd have your connections either left and right. So obviously this has already been taken off, but that's what you would normally have, something like that. So we take that off. We won't be needing that again, but always keep them in the box because you never know when you want to convert it back, or indeed if you want to use them as spares for any of the locos. Really, it's always handy to have a few spares. So this is the bit where it gets a little bit interesting. So this is your new alignment, I don't know, guide, if you want to call it. I wouldn't say flange, but probably a guide. Okay. And at the top, you'll see there's a little gap. Where's my handy screwdriver? There's a little gap in here. And that's just to basically put our wiring in. So as we insert our motor, we put the two wires through there. Hopefully, there we go. You can line it all up, push the motor in, and it keeps that wire in a nice, tidy area. And this basically is now going to be your fascia for this side. Okay. Yeah, but I think Pete Spares does, doesn't he? Who else does it? Somebody came out with one really close, if not identical, and I'll use that loosely, to what Strap Pepper does. And I think somebody trialed fitting one the other week, but the kit itself was close to like 40 odd quid, and I think that's a bit extreme. I mean, this cost me with postage, it cost me £18.50. So yeah, it's whatever suits, really, I suppose. So then we're doing this, and basically push that in. What we're going to try and do is get it as flush on this side as we can. Okay, which means it will sort of recess in here with a bit of luck. Okay, which is exactly what we want, really. And the wires are pretty much horizontal then to where they are sit with the motor. So I'm going to leave the bushing in. And the first thing I do then before I marry this up is we're going to introduce this sticker. So this is basically our insulator between the motor and the actual chassis, the bogie metalwork. Just as soon as I figure out how to take it off. There we go. Very simple. Just a clear, sticky little tab. And what we do is we just put that in there. If you need to do a guide, you can push that on the opposite side, I believe. And it gives you an idea. There's a hole in the middle of it. You just push it in. And there you go. It's all tickety-boo inside there. Obviously, when I said about cleaning, you know, this side you do clean the inside of it as well. Get rid of all that carbon and excess and stuff. Just makes your job a little bit easier and cleaner. So that's done. Anyway, enough of me talking. I'm just going to try and put this together. What's everyone else been doing the last week or so? Put this into there. And I'm going to line that up. You've got your two pegs on this side. You've got your center cap here. And it's just a case then of pushing this down all the way. Almost there. It's quite a tight fit for a 3D printed kit. It's not an actual bad fit, to be fair. It's really good. Obviously, we're just going to try and make sure you do get that gap in there. Otherwise, it's going to foul the edges. And you may need a little bit of persuader. So I'm just using the back end of a screwdriver just to push all this home. There we go. And there we have it. So as close as we can get it. So hopefully no large gaps or anything. So it's all relatively straight and aligned. And if need be, if the motor has moved, you just push the motor down. So we've got that maximum amount of protrusion of that drive shaft as possible. Trying to be awake at the right end of the day was a grumble. Model trains on hold to the 1st of May because of Microsoft exams. No. So got this piece here. This is basically like the retainer bit. So there's no gluing involved. It's all quite manageable by just pushing it in, and then it'll seat itself. If you want to use glue, you can do, but the risk with that is that if you use glue, you won't be able to get this apart if you need to convert it back to analog. And that's just pushed in there. So we give that another push. Go, and that's nice and smooth across there now. And that is basically the motor. I mean, there's physically nothing in that. It's completely solid. Very easy to do. Then what we do then, we come on to the bits I hate, which is the retaining clips. I'm not going to use the metal ones. I've already dry run with this. I'm going to use the plastic ones. It's entirely up to you which you use. But I've got a pair of tweezers. There we go. So there's your little retaining clip. And they go on these two areas here. And all it does, it just keeps that in there. So it's just simply a case of, yes, my fingers are everything else. Now they are tapered on one side, so it's handy to get the right side when you're pushing these in. So you got the flat side facing the body. There we go. See that on there? And then exactly the same on the other side. Don't know if you can see the taper on that. Maybe. No. Put the flat side face down, put it against the pin, and just push the pin, push it against the pin, and it should snap into place. There we go. And that's it. That's the easy bit done. It's not going anywhere. It's completely solid. And what do we do? Oh yeah, we'll go from there, don't we? Right. So now I've left the bush in there on purpose because it was a bit of a guide for me, and it didn't foul up. You may find it on yours. You may have to take that bushing out. Yeah. So always do a dry fit first. That's probably the main thing. Hey Anthony, how are you? Delft Junction, how are you doing? So it's always handy just to keep an eye on that. Actually, point of fact, any of you cleaned up your ring fields? You've taken all the gearing off, you cleaned them all down, and you put your gearing back on, put your train back on the track, run it around for a few minutes, and then you start getting that loud screeching sound. And that sound is more than likely this shaft here, this motor shaft on the old ring fields, actually making contact with this bushing. And if it's not lubed, that's where you get your screeching noises from. So if you come across that, even though you've lubricated everything else on here, see if you can actually get behind, because obviously your cog system is going to be there. Just push this one on. There we go. You can see that sort of sticks out a fair bit, doesn't it? So you can cut these down if need be. It depends on the clearance that you have. If you put a tiny bit of oil behind there, it should be able to get onto that drive shaft, and it should eliminate that screeching sound that you get. Ira says another trick to solve the issue is remagnetizing the magnet. Yeah, absolutely. There's a special kit that's in it that you have to use for that. I'm pretty. I think somebody said that there's new magnets that you can actually get now. I can't remember the name of them. God, Millennium or something daft like that, apparently. But yeah, you can get your magnets remagnetized. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. So while that's on, before I put anything else on, I will just put a little dab on mine. The joy with this is I can actually pull this forward ever so slightly. It gives me enough space. There we go. That's all we need. These are great, by the way. Fantastic. Little oil pens. So that's on there then. Obviously, all we've got to do now is go for the reassembly. I'm not going to cut this off at the moment because I think I actually do have the clearance. I'll check it later on. If I do, I'll just cut it off. Easy way to do it is just basically heat this knife or a knife, and just not hot, just a little bit warm, and then just saw off a little bit excess. Right, let's have a go at these then. So, clean these up a little bit. That's right. And this is just basically, like we talked about earlier on, take the burrs off. Neomagnetic ones are too strong, won't work. Ah, right, okay. So there is different types, and that will either make or break your system. Yeah, the good thing with this, if you do actually take that bushing out, because you've got all this, it's all centralized anyway. They've gone to a great depth sort of thing to actually, when they've had these 3D printed, that they all allow that motor to sit perfectly square in center. So it's up to you whether you take the bushing out or not. Just clean these up a little bit more. Last one. Happy days. Just need to put, what's that? Just need 2 strong neodymium magnets in it for a few minutes. Okay. So I take it you've done quite a few then, Ivo. Right. So that's those 4 done. You got your retainer clip. Now, some people use these as a main pickup because we'll need to create a pickup for our front bogie. You can either put a little dab of solder on there, or if you've got a really, really old ring field, there's usually like a little piece in here where you can put let me get out one of these old style connections, spades and spade connectors. It depends on what version model ring field you have. But for mine, what I've done is I've given myself 2 options. I've put just a little bit of solder on there, cleaned it all off, solder on there, and at the top of here I've actually scraped away this black coating so I can get to the proper bare metal, and I put a little dab of solder on there as well, just so I got a decent contact. Okay. So again, we've got these 4 areas where you got the cogs will sit on. Ooh, a bit too much. So we're just going to put a tiny bit of oil on those. And I mean, yeah, tiny. You don't need an awful lot on these guys. Seriously, otherwise the oil just gets spattered everywhere. And it's just a case then of just putting these back on so they can connect with the wheels. So we'll do that one. And then that onto there. And straight away you can see, hopefully, the camera angle's all wrong today, isn't it? You can see that cog is turning not only the wheel, but it's turning with the motor as well. You can see how much excess is on there when it's behaving. There we go. So you can see how much. Which way am I doing it? That way? There we go. There's a lot of excess there if you need to cut any of that off. So it's same for the other side. And that one onto there. that one on there. Once you've got all four in, just give it a bit of a run around, make sure that everything's turning. Everything's turning. Happy days. And it's just a case of putting this retainer back in now. This one's quite springy because it's relatively new. It takes a little bit of, maybe not. There we go, straight in. There we go. And it should clip in. So it should sit on there, on this side, and then nice and flush on here as well. That's the most important thing, is that it does actually bend through these two little E-lobes. And that is the drive system all done. Line Tree Town, how are you? Buckley Junction, good afternoon all, how are you? So that's it. It's minutes really. I'll come back to that later on. Not to wait. And again, then it's just basically a case of just putting a little bit of gear oil on the actual teeth of the cogs. Not too much. Not forgetting the actual internal cog that you got on there. Happy days. And then just give that a bit of motion just to move it around. Job's a good one. So that is the front bit done. So what you do then is reassemble. Obviously on here you'll have, where's my little pen pointer? You've got two notches, one on each side. Okay, one notch is slightly larger, so it'll be this side. This is be the rear part, and then the smaller notch is located on the front, which usually you get this L piece clip here. That's usually the one that sits at the front. So we want to make sure that our motor now is orientated so that the pickup, as we said earlier on, is going to be on our left side for the front, so it's facing forward. Okay, and that does match up, which is good. So we can put that in there, push it down till you hear the clip. Happy days. That's in. And you can see on there, I can see where that white cog is. There's a little piece of, I don't know if you can see it on here, a little bit of plastic on the side here, and it's literally, you're talking probably, I don't know, 0.5 mil. Don't know if you can see that. It's just that bit there. So it does still clear it, so I'm relatively happy with that. It's not catching the motor, it's allowing it to free rein. So that's one of the things you've got to look out for. So it's just so we don't get overly confused, put that back in the chassis. And the thing to worry about with this is these things here, see these tabs here, the other side, they go down the side of that motor. So this is where it may foul. Just going to check. And it does. So that, I'm going to take that off, and I am now going to have to try and cut that short. Get out the big guns. So it really depends on what frame or chassis you're putting this onto. I think this is the sharp one. Let's try that. Alternatively, you could probably use a Dremel maybe just to take it down. I'm going to see if I can try and cut it with this and not slice my hand off. And I'm left-handed as well, so that doesn't really help. Okay. Okay. If I had a vice, yeah, definitely. Right, I'm going to cheat. Where is? I'm going to use a bit of a Dremel. I don't need to take that much off. I'm hoping that this will do the trick. So I'm just going to put some safety glasses on. Let's have a look. I need to put it right on the very edge. There we go. Just bear with me. There. Okay. So we'll just try that back in frame. So a little bit clearer. Let's try that now. Oh, there. Oh, look at that. Happy days. Nice and smooth. And if you can see, can we see? Is there not enough light? Yeah, maybe that way. No. But yeah, definitely now it's not even that cog now is not actually touching anything. So it's nice and free to move, nice and free to spin. And I've only taken off. I find this bit that much. So it wasn't really that excessive. So there we go. That's that one done. Loving that. That's really good. Absolutely no contact with anything on there whatsoever. That's really good. Back one. Again, I've already done a bit of a prepping on this, so I've cleaned these axles. So as they sit in there, they're all been cleaned. And again, we just want to confirm that obviously that to the wheel, left hand side. This to that wheel on the left is dead, but on the right to pick up. Yeah. Wheel probably needs a bit of a clean. There we go. So we know it's going to sit like that. Even if you took this bogey off, so you wouldn't have this as a clue, even if you took that off, you'd still be able to figure it out. Guys, right, okay. Back from marital tea making. Good to see. You missed. Yeah, cake standy. Yeah, I still have my fingers. Yeah. I'm not, I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of these. These ones I could put up with, but these things, they're super sharp, and I don't really like playing with them. So hence why I've got the Dremel out. Back down there. Okay. So 2 wires from the motor. They will eventually go back to our pickup. And in this case, we're going to use this, which I did earlier on. If you get these from Strath Pepper, it will give you this as well. So it's a guide, and it actually tells you, which is really good. Tells you what each segment is. So pin 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a really good, handy tool to have. So if I leave that for a sec there, if anyone wants to do a screenshot, they can do. And then on the other side, you got all the other different variations as well. So there's a lot of information. It's really handy to have. So this is what we're going to be using today. Obviously on there, so I've got my glasses. So number 1 is motor orange. 2 is yellow lights. 3 is what does that say? Can't see what that says. Green. Black for track. Number 5 is motored grey. 6 is lights white, and 7 is the common blue for your lights. And then number 8 is going to be for track red. So track black, track red. So left, right, if you want to use it as that. We'll take that there. Probably put that. Yeah, okay. It's just too short. Okay. So we can put all this back in. Nice and simple. And bags of pieces. There we go. Okay. Oops. Right. So what I tend to do with these is I have them mounted on a bit of plaster struck. Just any old bits of pieces you can have, and I just mount it on like so. So there's a bit of a gap there. I can put 2 little strips. So we'll do that now. There's 1, 2. And someone's put a bit of a weight in there, some lead. So what I'll do is that area, I'll put these 2 bits of plastic on. Yeah, that'll do. And all we do that is a little bit of super glue. And same on your side on this one, to give it a bit of a base to sit on. Put that in there. When you're putting these on, where that chassis is, just got to make sure that clip doesn't foul it. And then all I do on here now is I just put a little touch on here. And I orientate it the way I tend to have it. I've got to be careful with this glue because I spilled some the other week. It almost killed me. The amount of stuff I had to soak up in a cloth, and then it started eating into the cloth. Put that over there. This stuff you can get from, you can get it anywhere. I got mine from Screwfix. It's literally instant, but it's rock solid. I've used it on quite a few of the models. It's a good thing with this one then is obviously the black, which should be the right hand side. I can now put that straight to where I need to go, which will be, let's turn this on. That black. So that is basically going to go to there. You can see that, yeah. Put that one into there. So that'll be the pickup for that. The other pickup I'll take from the top of this bit here. That'll go onto the top of this bogey there. And then hopefully then that'll be the track feed into my DCC chip socket. And then I take two feeds out there from this side and then that side back to the two wires in the motor. Really easy. Let's have a look at the chat. Well, just let that stuff go off a minute. Let's have a look. What does it say on that one then? I was looking at pitting manual of both point switches we gave up. Okay. All used for service mounted point motors. Oh yeah, toggle switches cyan. Yeah, Dremel time. Yeah, done the Dremel. I just don't like those knives. They're more hassle than they're worth. I like Dremel, but my neighbours don't at 2 in the morning. Oh dear. I can't look. Yeah, it's fine. We all survived. But all over the camera. Like switches, yeah. Back from let's go see. Oh. So we've got still got Andy in there. Delta Junction's in there. Finton's still going. Ivo's still there. Just what else we got? I think you can retrofit lights, but the light lenses are stickers. I think are. Yeah, that's the other thing on this one as well. It's on because it's such an old model. It's just purely plastic and decals. So those lights are quite small. Looking at, I think on the inside, you probably could see the two little black dots just in there. You probably could push those out. I'd have to have a look, see if there's a mod kit for lights. Not too sure if there is for the old 91s, but there's no harm in looking. Okay. I'm just going to cut this down just a little bit. And there, a little bit of flux, and almost the last bit of my solder. Awesome. So there. Happy days. And then it's just a case now of getting this first wire put on. Come on. There we go. if need be, we could tie up the wiring later on. Just give that a quick buzz. So from the bogey itself straight to the pin, and I'm using the socket hole, and then I can use the actual main solder patch as well. So I know there's definitely continuity all the way to that pin. Happy days. So let's go. See if we've got any red. Got some red in here. There we go. A bit of red. So we're going to take this red. We'll take it from there, I think. So take it from the top. Apologies, my fingers are in the way. Take that to the top. Pass it around. Bring it around to the top end of there. So no more than that. Yeah, I'd like to be able to get lights on this one. It would be good, but I just don't think for an old 91 you can get them. I could be wrong. I'll have to do a search. I don't particularly want the old grain bulb because it just looks naff. But you can get, obviously for the HSTs, the Class 37s, you can get like the small circuit boards now that people make. So I'll have to keep an eye out, see if there's a kit for a 91. And this isn't for me, by the way. This is for my son-in-law. This will be going back to him because it's his. Solder on there. Okay. Apologies if my hand is in the way. And then we need to pick that up. Where are we? That one there. So just going to route that in there because I want this wire to stay relatively secure. I've given it a little bit longer because obviously with this turning, I just need that wire to have that just a little bit of flexibility. I don't think it's actually going to stick to this. Could be wrong. Yeah, okay. Let's put it to the side. It's not an issue. I know it'll definitely go onto here. It was hit and miss, that's why I put in a second option. And I've still got enough room to pull this up a bit. Probably even get away with doing it that way. There we go. So it's just all about basically routing your wires in a nice, relatively tidy-ish sort of way. Obviously this one has got our main fixing point in the middle, so we need to just go around that, but then have enough flex so that it can still turn. Cool. Right. So the only thing left to do now is to get these. This is where that heat shrink comes in. I'll get these wired up back to this side. So let's see. It's entirely up to you what you want. You can use whatever colors. You know, if you want to, stick to exactly what this says, and by all means. But because I'm not selling this on, it's not going to go anywhere other than within sort of that family sort of thing. Then Just going to use what I can. So, how's everyone doing anyway? Anyone bought new locos, buildings, starting a new project or anything? So we put a little bit of heat shrink on there, because obviously we're doing a connection and we don't want those to get connected. Yes, that one. It's small one. This is where the fun begins. There we go. Anyone up too much? Started a new model shop. Woo-hoo. Happy days. Doing a lot of redesigning turntable and seeing it's taken a lot of time. But yeah, it's all part of the hobby, isn't it? Nothing's going to be done in a day, is it? You know, it's all part and parcel of that hobby. If we had it all done in a day, it wouldn't be an exciting hobby, would it? Okay. I'll just try and get this wire onto here. Is that one done? Started new light, but slow progress due to my sugars being all over the place, and I have 3 boxes of stock that I'm not 12 years. Wow, line tree. Well, it doesn't matter what age you are, is it? You know, you start whenever you're ready to start, isn't it? You know, like I said, it's not something that can be finished in a day. It does take time. Have you thought of what you're going to be doing in your layout then? This thing's so awkward. Come on. Anything needs to add a few more lines to the turntable. Exactly. Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay. Right, just put those over there. I don't know if you can hear it, but obviously with me being in the attic, you can hear the wind at the moment. It has picked up something chronic. It's absolutely mental. Okay, so one thing to add now. Okay, I've only got 2 wires to put back on. So I have my feed from the right-hand side of the truck. This feed is from obviously the left-hand side. That goes into your DCC socket to feed power in. Then we're going to take power out by using pin 1 and pin 5. And they're going to go back to the motor. Now these motors, even though they're obviously red and black wires on them, doesn't necessarily tells you which rotation is which. So when you come to putting these onto this socket, so if I took my grey one here and put it to pin 1 and then put that to pin 5 and I put the DCC chip in, if fired it all up, you may find that if you select forward, the motor might actually go into reverse. There's two ways you can get about it. Is you can either swap over these wires, so you take the blue and put the blue to number 1, put the grey to number 5, or if you're a bit more adventurous, you can go into your CV settings and you can do a reverse within the CV settings itself. It's entirely up to you. So there's no real permanent sort of one sort of like solder does all sort of thing. You can actually change things around. Let's just put this sleeve back on. These little heat shrink sleeves, all I do on this, I put the back end of the soldering iron onto it, and it should shrink down and give you a nice decent seal. That one there, and this one here. Come on. Or you can use the side, just literally touch and go. Don't leave it on there, otherwise it will just burn right through straight away. There we go. So all nicely sealed. I know it's like sucking eggs, but it's always handy to get those done straight away. And you know, there's less messing about to do. What I tend to do with these then is I twist them. Just a bit of a twist, just so they hold each of it in place, so you've not got loose wires going everywhere. And also that allows you to give the ability then to figure out where to connect these into. So let's say we take the same route, bring that around. So I would say there, and you just cut and trim as required. Small amount, bit of flux, and off we go again. So great, I'm going to stick on this side. Trying to do this and keep it. What's the CV number? Good question. Can I get back to it? Or I might have it in here. Let me have a look. Is it CV29? I'm not sure. If I don't figure it out, guys, I will put it on the comments later on. I think, unless someone in the chat knows already. Let's have a look. Obviously 8 for the reset, that's fine. So much information there, it's ridiculous. TV table 29. Well, 29 is a decoder configuration. It might be in that. Don't hold it to me though. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will find out and I'll stick it in the chat below after this stream's finished, just in case anyone does need to know. Hello.
Anyone live?
Yeah. All right. Give me a sec, guys.
So we said we couldn't find. I just found it. So that's it. We're running up this way, so
Let me just, guys, just give me a minute. I'm just going to mute the mic just for a second. Okay, right, I'm back. Right, let's just finish this last bit off then. So, one wire here. I'm going to route that around there. Okay, so let's just take it off one turn. And then it gives me that. Okay, so about there. I mean, you don't have to make it as neat and tidy as I've done. You know, you can just put wires in, wherever. But I like to try and make it relatively neat, simply because if I need to put anything else in, either lights or sound, then there's additional wires. Let me just check this settings, because every time I play with this mic, it tends to go off. Yeah, that's working. Cool. Right, last little bit then. Let's put that stuff on there. Bit of solder. Right, this is a tricky bit. And all I'm going to do now is just basically just reorientate this wire to the socket for number 5. Okay, that, gents, is pretty much now wired up. Just get a bit of tape just to hold that in place for a minute until I find something a little bit more permanent. So that's it. Literally, it is just 4 wires, 2 for your pickups, and then 2 from there back to your motor. And at this point, you can still have this analog. So if you wanted to have it analog, these things are great. When you buy DCC ready locomotives, you usually find they have a blank and chip inside. Yeah. Don't throw them away. They're really good to save. So all it does, it basically just links certain pins together. That was quite a good one, right? Let's try to find out. So that's number 1. So I'm going to put that into there. Technically now, I should be able to put power to this. Let me find out. I've got some clips somewhere. Okay. Into there. Right. So just a 9-volt battery. Hopefully, turn it this way. Should be able to get this motor to run. He says. That's annoying. Oh, it's on live. Okay, that's there. That's there. Try the old-fashioned way. That's annoying. Why am I not getting any feed? I have to make sure I've got this right. Track black, yeah. Track red. Motor. That's right. So it all goes pop now. So the one bit of stream I haven't actually tested. 8.9 volts. That's happy days. Hey, there we go. So happy days. And if I swap that around, so that, guys, if you can hear it. Yeah, that's working. Just doesn't like running on the surface of air at the moment. Cool. That's it, pretty much. So if you wanted to just have this DCC ready, then it's just simply a case of your two wires into your socket, your two feeds from there to there, into there, put in your blanking plate, and then you can run analog, you know, your 12, 15 volts sort of thing. But then obviously if you want to go DCC, all you've got to do then is take that out, put in a DC decoder, and remembering on these sockets, because you've got the two pads in the center, means that this one here is always going to be number 1, and that's going to be number 8 on the opposite side. So, and you can just see it is printed. Not all of them have it, but on there somewhere. Apology if it doesn't show, but just there's a tiny little 1, signifies that that is pin 1. Okay. No, I probably got the blanket plate the wrong way around, knowing my luck. Just have a look. I can try this one. I don't know what's for this one. I'll use this one in a while. Still got feeds, haven't we? There we go. There we go. Yeah. The banking plate on that one was a bit naff, but this one. And I swap the power around. That's it. So that now is basically ready to run as analog with that blanket plate fitted. And all we need to do is just do a little bit of tidying up with the wiring. Stick that into there. We'll get that held in with either a bit of black tack or a bit of glue. All you need to remember is you've got that swivel. Yeah. And then obviously, if you've got the chassis where it's bolted, we just need to make sure the wires are clear of the mounting holes there. Again, we just push those down to the side. And there you have it. So all I need to do now is, once I tidy this up, is get a DCC chip. So for this one, what we're going to do is learn from our experience. We're not going to put a Hornby one in. We're going to get a Lays decoder. And with the Lays decoder, it gives you a lot more options with start voltages and stuff like that. but it also has the capacity to put a stay alive capacitor on it. You can either buy it individual, so you can buy the Lay's decoder for, I don't know, 12, 15 quid, and then you can buy the stay alive capacitor separately, or you can buy the unit all in one. I think the ones that I've got coming through in total is about £25. So it's a Lay's decoder, a lot more functions on it, a lot of things where you can actually tweak the voltages, start voltages, and all that sort of stuff. And you've got the added capacity of a stay alive, which I think for these is probably worthwhile, because you've only got two pickups, two wheels per bogey set. You're relying on those connections to give you a nice smooth run. So because it's such an old model, and they haven't got the usual sort of pickup forks on all sets of wheels, I'd probably go with a stay alive. And what I'll do is, once I've ordered that, I'll come back to this probably on another live, probably not this week, but probably end of the month. We'll put that DCC decoder in, and then I'll show you some of the setups that you can go through from a Railmaster, so you can choose all the different CVs, etc. And then we can give it a test on here, then see how reliable it is with the stay alive. But that is essentially it. So for this, anyway, can't really knock that. If anyone knows anywhere that sells the upgraded lights for 91, please let us know. It'd be great to try and get some LEDs on this. And there is even room for a little cab light, so we can put a cab light in there if we need to. Probably put one in the rear as well, cab light. But essentially, that is it. I'm quite chuffed with that. My heart was going for a minute that it wasn't going to work. But very simple, very easy to do. Like I said, you can easily use those PCB boards, whatever you want to call them, or you can use little flexibles, hardwire socket. It's entirely up to you how you build it. They all do exactly the same thing. As long as you go against the wiring diagram, you can't go wrong. It's 4 basic wires. Yeah, Ivo, they do. Yeah, ESU sells them. I think they're probably a lot more expensive, but yeah, they do sell them. Orange wire decoder to pin 1. Yeah, I might check. I mean, if I was keeping this for myself, I would change that over to an orange wire. I think at the moment, because obviously it's just been kept within the family sort of thing, and it works, I'm not going to worry about it too much. If it was mine, then yeah, I would use all the right coloured wires, because at the end of the day, I might sell it in 5-10 years time. But I don't think my son-in-law wants to. He'd be happy for it to just run. So without further ado, there we go. Okay, I'd love to show you it running, but I haven't got a spare decoder at the moment. But needless to say, obviously, with the blanking plate, we are getting the feed into the motor, so that's all good news. We'll get the Lay's one ordered in, get it fitted, and then if it's in time for me live at the end of the month, we'll show it going around, and hopefully we'll send that back to him all good as new. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to put anything on at the moment. I just wanted to get this out of the way today, because I've got to go down, cook some, get the tea ready, cook some tea, I suppose. But I hope you've enjoyed the stream. It's certainly an idea to prep before. So I did a lot of this prepping yesterday. I don't tend to do that. I just like to sort of, turn the camera on and off it goes. But I think in my situation, prepping is probably the way to go. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. given you, most of you probably know how to do all this sort of stuff anyway. But for those who obviously either in the chat today or will come across this video in the future, it should give you a good sort of insight as to how easy, really, it is to convert your locos. All I would say is you give them a thorough clean. Give the motors a clean, axles. If you've got pickups, give all them a really good clean, and you got at least a fighting chance then of making things like this come back to life. So happy days. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for putting up with my boring commentary. Hope you liked what you've seen. If you do, please hit the subscribe and share button and leave a comment if you wish to. And we'll see you again next Sunday, I believe. I don't think I've got anything on, so I should be here as usual. If you've got any tips or tricks that you want to share with us, please do let us know. If you want to do a shared live, guys, I'm more than happy to, if you let us know beforehand, I'm more than happy to bring you on camera sort of thing. It's great to obviously have someone to talk to that can talk back at the same time. It is difficult to try and read things as well as doing all the modeling at the same time. But feel free next time. If you want to come in, just drop us a message. I'll send a link across and you can come in onto the live. You're more than welcome. Anyway, enough rambling from me. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, evening. Stay safe. Thanks again. Bye now.